He turned water into wine. I turned whiskey into songs. Too many second chances, too many too far gones. Gave me grace along the way, took my heart and led me home. Don't you see? It's a God thing for me. Now I write songs about the heartland. My heartland's in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Heartland Journal podcast with Steve Abramowitz, editor-in-chief of heartlandjournal.com.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. I'm Steve Abramowitz, and this is the Heartland Journal podcast. On this show, we are focusing on our nation today with always an interesting person making a positive change in our community and lovers of truth. Today, we are talking with a very special guest, Tim Timmons. Tim Timmons is a Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and worship leader whose music carries a unique blend of authenticity, humor, and hope. Diagnosed with incurable cancer over 2 decades ago, Tim has turned his journey into a catalyst for songs that point people toward practicing life with Jesus every day. Beyond his music, Tim founded 10,000 Minutes, a nonprofit and podcast encouraging people to join Jesus in the 10,000 minutes of the week outside Sunday services. He co-wrote Mercy Me's Grammy-nominated hit, Even If, now featured in the upcoming film I Can Only Imagine, Even If, where actor Milo Ventimiglia portrays Tim. Since his debut, Cast My Cares 2013, followed by Awake Our Souls 2015, and Here 2021, Timmons has released songs that serve as prayers. You Never Let Go, This Is the Day, Roar, and No Other Gods. All reminders of God's nearness in every season. Whether through songs, stories, or ministry, Tim Timmons' mission is simple: to help people walk with Jesus in the everyday moments of life. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee with his wife, Hillary, and 4 children. His new book, Waking Up Again, A Journey of Grief and Gratitude, is now the movie I Can Only Imagine 2. Waking Up Again is not just about enduring hardship, it's about the nearness of God in it. Let's hear some godliness. Hang on. Hello, how are you today?
I'm great. I think I'm great. We just found out we live in the same town, so this is awesome.
You are great. We're literally on Zoom, talking, bouncing around the millennia, but yet you're right across the street from me. So how cool is that? Next time in studio, sir.
Okay, feels right.
So you've been incredibly open about your journey with terminal cancer and your practice of marking an X on your wrist. Hopefully you'll show us each day as a reminder to thank God for one more day. How did that daily ritual transform your perspective on what it means to truly live versus just survive?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I was a varsity American Christian for most of my life. Like really great at it. Awesome. A worship leader, big churches, doing the whole thing. And at some point, at 33 years old, I remember going, man, is this all there is? There's got to be more to this like religious Christian thing than just doing what I'm doing. Like just being awesome at this stuff, doing good work for God, working for him so hard. And I was just exhausted. My neighbor was an atheist, and yet he had more seeming fruit of the spirit, fruit of something than I did. And I was like, this doesn't match. Like I'm pushing this whole Jesus thing and we get to go to heaven and we die and this is how great is that? But this guy's living with more joy than I was. And I was trying to figure that out with my theology, going, I don't know how this works. I don't think it does work. And so there's got to be more. It was nobody else's fault, not the places I was working. It was just my own inability to see a bigger story, I think. And so it was in that season that I remember just basically quitting working for God. And I said, I'm done working for you. I'll never work for you again. Working for you actually sucks. So I'll just take each day, and you gave me another day. I'll write an X on my wrist and I'll wake up again, thankfully. And I'm just going to join you in my days. So I think me trying to figure out how do I just join Jesus in my days versus like tell him where I think we should go has really shifted my intentionality in my days, in my morning as I wake up. Get up, brush my teeth, go to work, do all the things, come home, brush my teeth, go to bed. And man, I don't know if that's the life I want to lead. I want a bigger life than that, not for Tim's sake, but like for the world's sake. So that's kind of been part of my process.
Is it too simplistic to think like, whoa, you didn't want him as your boss, you wanted him as your daily companion?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole Bible seems to be like this idea of working with him anyways, not doing it for him. And the more that I was like, that's what I want. I want to do that. It's just been way more fun.
Oh yeah. And Hillary has matching X, right? Was she with you every step of the way?
She does not have a matching X. That's more in the movie. That
Oh,
she
okay.
did that in the moment. But that was really like an intentional moment in her in our story and how she wrestled with God big time. So 25 years ago now, was given 5 years to live, incurable cancer, stage 4, still tumors on my liver, wearing out my heart. Um, so it's just been this wild ride for 25 years. But the first whole part of that, except for the first year, she was just had a full-on wrestling match with God. Like, God, you're letting me down. Like I thought if I did X, Y, and Z, that you would do your part. And he wasn't doing his part. And I was still, they still gave me a few years to live at that point. So for her, even in the movie when she doesn't write the X on her wrist, that was really significant. And then when she writes the X on her wrist in the movie, that was also significant. So that she doesn't write it the same way I do, but her uh, not just surrender, but finding a place of contentment underneath surrender, I think was one of the most beautiful things I got to watch just as a husband to journey with your wife.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
super cool. We always hear it's almost a cliche now, live one day at a time, or Tim McGraw's song,
Yeah,
live
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're dying. But it's not always possible to have that much energy, 365, 60
Yeah.
minutes in an hour. How every day is your lust for life, or do you take some days to just chillax and be like, okay, I lived, I'll do it again tomorrow?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I really think joy is outside of circumstance. I think rest is outside of circumstance. Um, Now, am I exhausted in my days? Yes. In all that I get to do and be about, am I exhausted? Yes. But joy is this thing that is like always there. It's always present. As far as that I'm living, in this place of like uh terminal joy, continuous joy, in that life is freaking hard. Like there are so many things. I was thinking about it this morning. There's so many things that are so heavy today in my own sphere. Um, Really sad things going on right now. And so for me to go, you know what? I woke up again. It's like, man, that just seems so deaf and like almost like toxic positivity, like and for me, I'm trying to figure out how do I hold really the tension of grieving these things and going, these things are so painful. I, I don't have a theology that goes, you know what, here's what's happening and God's doing this and this and this. I just can't find it. I know I used to be able to in my early Christian days, but not anymore. So I'm holding the tension of like this grief and holding the tension of God woke me up again today. And some days are easier than others to write this X. Some days are
Yeah,
harder than others to write this X and say, God, I'm pissed today. I'm so mad that this happened and this is happening. God, do something, right? Like how many times have we been in those moments?
that's
So
very
it's
human,
like,
very
how
human.
can we hold the tension? And I've been pretty vocal about this idea that um, we say all the time, life's so hard. And I'd say to my friend who's dying right now, and is on hospice, one of my best friends in the world for my childhood. I could go, man, life's so hard, Mark, but God's good. It's like it's just such a deaf way of looking at it. When Jesus was the one who started crying about with his friends about Lazarus, he's like, I see this. I hate this. This is not how it was supposed to be. This is not Genesis 1 and 2. This is not my intent. this is hard. Let's grieve this. And not but God is good, but and God is at work in all things. And so I'm trying to hold these tensions of these two things and even more. Like life is hard and God woke me up today. Some days I can't wait to get up. Some days I'm like, okay, this is another real one, man. I gotta Jesus help. And I'm trying to figure out how do I walk with him in grief and in gratitude and just actually with him the whole time. As if he's at work in these things and he's walking with me in these things. So I think joy is outside of if my joy is contingent upon my day, then I think I've missed the good news of the availability of the kingdom of God. If rest is contingent upon me being tired or not, then I've missed the actual invitation, the greater invitation of the kingdom of God,
Huh.
which in him is just rest, period.
Yeah. I mean, we
That
live in
makes
a
sense.
Genesis 3 world, and comforting
Yeah.
isn't always easy. Does Hillary match your energy or sometimes calm you down?
Yeah, I think we both match and calm each other down all the time. You know, she's got a little more fire in certain places and I get to bring a little more calm to her. I've got certain fire in me that she gets to bring some wisdom to. And so, I mean, that's part of the gift of the partnership and friendships or in a marital relationship.
Yeah, she didn't play much of a role in I can only imagine one. So to have her in two, it's very important because that's the loving spouse and marital bliss, let's just call it. But so Andy Irwin endorsed your book.
Yeah.
How'd you meet Andy, and how strong did your relationship become for him to make not just one movie about you, but two? And he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, and he only made one about me, which is good. He made two about Bart, but Andy, I don't like him much. Let's be real honest about that. No, I'm kidding. He's like the coolest human. He is such a great man. I mean, he's wonderful when you get him on a podcast and you see him talking and sharing, and he's just so wise. But in real life, he's just the same guy. Like, there's not much different from him being behind the camera and being in front of, and then in front of the camera. He's just kind, thoughtful. He's curious about people. Um, I think, we probably think some different things along some of the lines of politics or whatever in life. And man, the guy is so beautiful that I love being a part of his world. I love that I learn from him, he learns from me. Like, what a gift to be with people like that aren't just so set and like, well, sucks to be you. This is how I see it.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. I love Andy. So we've been friends for years. And so when he came to me saying, "Hey, could we make a movie about some of your story?" Um, I don't know how many people I know this sounds weird, but I don't know how many people I would have said yes to. Um, I just trust him so much. And so, yeah. So, man, what an honor to even just be able to do life with him, but then to have him help make a movie about some of your hardest days.
Yeah.
It's really an honor.
Bart Millard, lead singer, songwriter for Mercy Me. How'd you meet him?
Yeah, Bart and I, well, you can kind of see it in there's a little movie called I Can Only Imagine Too. But Bart, we were both on a tour. It was one of his tours, the Mercy Me tour. And I was this opener. I was like lights up opener. So, which means lights aren't even down. Like the house lights are on, but stage lights aren't even on. It's just like the worst place, the worst opening position you can have. And my record label had just put me on this lineup and my record wasn't out yet. My single wasn't even out to radio yet. It was such a classic moment. Um, but I was out with on it's called a Rock and Worship Roadshow way back when. And I remember the night before, one of our Bart and I's mutual really close friends said, "Dude, I think you guys are going to be best friends." So I told Bart the first day, I just said, "Hey, I was just talking to our friend Matt, and he said I think we're supposed to be best friends. So we'll see how that goes." But that was about it. I didn't try to like, you know, get in his world, or I just tried to let Jesus open doors if that's what was Jesus wanted to do. Because I can schmooze, I can like talk my way into things. And when I quit working for God, I also quit working on schmoozing. And I quit saying I will never open a door again to try to get something that I think is best for my kingdom.
Oh,
So Jesus, if you open doors, then I'll walk through them. And part of that was even becoming friends with the Mercy Me guys was like, yeah, I didn't go out of my way to befriend them, but just to be present. So then through the tour, Bart and I actually became really close, and then kind of the rest is history. And look at us now.
Yeah, literally cinematic history. Tim,
Yes. Yes.
I couldn't help but take note this week was Steve McQueen's birthday. I'm
Mm.
supposedly named after him. I don't know. My mom passed away in 2013, but I think that's what she told me. I think Andy is actually doing his movie. So you two have very similar stories where
Huh.
how you got here. He got cancer, flew down to Mexico for some alternative treatment. Not long before that, he found Jesus, biggest celebrity in the universe, and then he finds Jesus, and like you have found Jesus, but God in his infinite wisdom called him home. I actually know the pilot that flew him down and flew his casket back 24 hours later. What do you think God has in store for you now, letting you survive, called him home?
Yeah, that is such a great question. I have no clue. And when you find out, you let me know. Um, I, all I know is it's not like I've done more quiet times. I've probably done less than Steve did in those days. I don't know what how it all works. I just know that I woke up again. That's all I know. And you did too, thankfully, and whoever's listening, like you woke up again today. And I don't know why. I guess we could look into that, but I know too many people that are dead today that had way more faith than I do and are way more beautiful, more beautiful people than I am, and love Jesus way more than I ever have, and have loved the poor way more than I ever have loved them, but they got cancer or whatever, and they're not here today. And I don't get it. I
Yeah.
just straight up don't get it. I
Well,
just
pray the
know,
Lord my soul to keep if I should die before I wake. I mean, that's every day
yeah,
you wake, you get your soul back. Every day you don't, he's got it.
yeah, and so how do we live intentionally in this day? In the day that I have, how do I just live more intentional? And I mean, I really think that that's partly why Hillary and I wrote this book on waking up again. It's like I get to travel the country and the world over and over and over and over and over again, and I get to meet people every week of my life. And you can see that, man, I think we're pretty stuck as even Jesus people. We're pretty stuck and I think pretty powerless and exhausted. And um I want to be a voice that's saying, hey guys, what if there's more?
Hmm.
What if there's more than just this Christian thing that we've all been given? We get to go to heaven. I'm like, if that's the only thing to this whole Christian thing that we get to go to heaven when we die, I'm kind of out. Like, I'm bored. And I think Jesus is like, you guys, that's just like the smallest part of this story. But that's what we've made like as the grand invitation is that you know what you get to do? You get to have heaven when you die.
Yeah,
But
there
nothing
is
helps
no
us
stairway
today.
to
Like
heaven.
it, but we get today, I get to have the kingdom of heaven is alive and well in me today and available for all of us
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
And I just go, wow, that's a much more beautiful story. So I want to be a part of that story. So how do I get to be my life? And in my book, there's a lot of successes and failures on me waking up. And it's partly why I write this every day
yeah, yeah.
is
It's not a tattoo. You
it's
write
not
it
a
on there every
tattoo.
day. Yeah,
The X stood for the Christ years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
And it's not a tattoo because we get good at what we practice. And I am trying to practice the heart of Jesus, which I write it every day because I fail at that. And I, go into my own kingdom. I'm starting to build my kingdom. And it's like, no, that's Tim, that's not your job.
yeah,
You just get to hang out and join Jesus and the cool things he's doing. So again today, Jesus, I
yeah.
will join you.
And I'm blessed to have this hour with you myself. So you once shared that for most of your life, you found yourself working for God rather than walking with Him. You said that in the beginning. What was the
Mhm.
pivotal moment or series of moments that helped you
Mm.
understand the difference, and how did it change everything for you? Because a lot of people would say, well, working for Him and walking with Him, it's just synonymous.
Such great questions, Steve.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Um, yeah, I don't know if there was a moment other than a season. And then in the end of my book, I say that I'm trying to use less words with ed, ending in ed, and more words ending in ing. Like,
Yeah.
I've learned this. I figured this out. When I'm like, no, I'm learning this. I'm practicing this. I'm in process versus I've landed somewhere, you know? Um, and I think that I'm still in process of figuring out how to not work for him. That's why I keep writing this dang X on my wrist. Like, Jesus, for me to live is you. For me to die, I get to be with you. Um, from that's Philippians 1:21. For me to live is Christ, to die is gain. And yeah, so I guess it wasn't really a moment other than when my world began to shatter and my kingdom started to shatter. And just meaning Jesus talks about seeking first his kingdom all the time. Like, that's kind of the point. Yet I feel like I've made a lot of suburbs, like Timmons suburbs in the kingdom of God.
Church
It's
of
like
Me, I call it. Yeah.
it's gated. It's the whole thing. We got like it's just really comfortable. And I'm always trying to build my kingdom. And I think at one point I got to a place saying there's got to be more than just Jesus died for my sins. There has to be more than that. Because if that's all it is, man, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how this goes.
Clean slate, right?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, please tell me there's more. And then uh if he is real and he's inviting me into more, then what could this look like? What does my daily life look like? And I don't want to be figuring that stuff out. So I'm in process with that, I
Sure.
guess is
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
all
trying
are.
to
I
say.
call it Church of Me. Once you figure out it's not the Church of Me, it's the Church of Jesus, then you can actually open your
So
eyes
good,
and find the
Steve.
door.
So good. I mean, even in that point, because that's I love that. I think most of my story, most of my life has been about the kingdom of Tim, as I've been just talking about. And as I'm looking at our little church community here in Nashville, we are having so much fun going through scripture, trying to figure out, okay, what was he saying to the original people? Not to like Tim Timmons in 2026, because it wasn't written to me. It was written so I could read in, look in on this, but it wasn't written to me. And every you in the New Testament, it's crazy, except for like you, Timothy, or you, Barnabas. Almost every you in the New Testament is to a y'all, which is crazy. So when I'm rereading the New Testament and I'm seeing when it says you do this, it's like y'all as a community get to embody this. As a
Yeah,
community, you
because
get to embody this for the sake of everybody around you. So the
Paul
fruit
was
of the
Paul was
spirit
writing
is
letters to churches, and
yeah,
not
for
just
the
the
but
pastor at the church, the entire
yes,
church. Yeah.
yes,
Two
and,
two
and
thirds of the
not
New
for
Testament is Paul's letters to the church.
yes, and that's bonkers. I knew that, but when I started like making sense to go, oh, so this actually isn't like a personal, just a, hey, is your personal salvation done? It's a collective, like that we would embody this way of Jesus. Because what could happen if we embodied? Now, I have to write this every day and I can only account for myself, but
Yeah.
there's this bigger story at work that the fruit of the spirit is not for Tim Timmons. Like that I have a bunch of fruit of the spirit in me
Yeah.
is not for me. And I always thought, you know what? I've got more joy, I've got more hope, all these things, I got generosity.
It's for the Great Commission. It's for discipleship.
Yes, yes. But that I'm just I'll just admit I was late to that game. And I'm just kind of waking up to that game.
Yeah.
Like that all this stuff is actually for the sake of my enemy. It's for the sake of my kids that I would have more patience. It's for the sake of others. So everything is so others focused. So, anyways, you just said that and it sparked that. And I
Yeah.
love that. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I used to always think like, well, I'm not a sinner. I mean, I've never murdered anybody. I'm a good
Yeah.
guy, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it doesn't matter. Adam did, and Jesus came down to get rid of that one, if nothing else, the original sin. Okay, I'm gonna quote you back to yourself.
Go.
There's got to be more to life than trying to meet some arbitrary standard of being a good Christian and just quote doing unquote church. Who you talking to in that?
So I would consider myself a missionary to Christians, is what I am. Um, when I say that, when we think of missionaries, we think of somebody who's got it all figured out, and that's not what I mean. I surely do not have it figured out. But I also do see, if you just look at the news at all, or you look at how people look at Jesus tribes, I don't know if we look like Jesus. I think we look an awful lot like what we want him to look like and what they've always wanted him to look like, a conquering king. And he's not a conquering king in that same way.
The next incarnation, maybe, but not that one.
Yeah, not this one. And not that I can see.
Yeah. So would you consider
And
yourself more of a Paul or a Timothy?
probably Paul. I think I'm got more prophet in me and not like knowing the future, but in inviting the church to look like Jesus. Just to consider it. So when I'm talking to that, there's got to be more. I get to travel the country and I don't know too many pastors, maybe on one hand, maybe two hands, in all my years of traveling, can I look at certain churches and go, cool. Almost every pastor I've ever met is soul tired.
Yeah.
Like just think of the ramifications of that for a second, Steve.
Maybe
Like
Bill,
it's
maybe
almost
Billy Graham and those, on
yeah, I
fire
didn't meet
every
Billy.
single day. Yeah.
Yeah, Bart did. And not that life's not hard and we have bad days. That's not soul tired is like we're working for God so hard that we miss just being with him and
Yeah.
joining him in the cool work he's doing. And I guess I've just been with so many pastors and thankfully they trust me and share their stuff with me. And no wonder why our people just are stuck in the things we're stuck in.
Yeah.
No
Well,
wonder.
you're a great communicator, and the kids, they're not going to listen to some gray-haired 65-year-old tell them that, you got to put down the cigarette and turn off the TV. They'll be like, yeah, whatever, old man. So
Yeah.
your song, and this is where I get really into you because of the culture. I'm all about the culture. Your song, even if comes from a place of, deep gratitude. Tell me if I'm wrong, but grief and grief. Can you walk us through the origins of that song and how you've managed to hold both joy and sorrow in the same hand?
Yeah, I would say I'm holding them in different hands. If you will. I mean, not to get technical and dumb, but holding joy and well, joy and sorrow. I guess that would be the same hand because I think those do go together. Who knows how many hands we got? We got a lot of hands. We'll
Well, it
just
goes
go
into
with
two
whatever.
ears and out one throat. So,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, just I think joy is again not contingent upon my circumstances. And so sorrow, I think joy is actually the gift in the midst of sorrow. And joy isn't the gift in the midst of beautiful times too. But we'll get there. Even if originally I have a friend named Crystal Lewis, who was an artist years ago, and um, I was helping her write a song, and she had brought this verse idea and we then write this verse and this chorus together and it was beautiful. um and she didn't want it for her record, and then I brought it to my to Sony. I'm like, you guys, this song's really great. It's not done yet, but I think it's got great bones. And they're like, it's not that good. I'm like, you guys, that hurts my feelings. And so but I just this song was dead in the water. It was just like, okay, um this will just be a prayer that I get to pray because I thought the chorus was so good. And so then Bart, who's one of my best friends in the studio right here, he came over and I had the sense that the song was for Bart. And but I would never go to my best friend and go, "Hey man, I got a song I think you should do." It just feels dirty and like I'm trying to get something out of my friend, and I never want my friends to feel like I'm getting something out of them. So I just said, "Jesus, if that's you, then you open the door. If not, whatever." So he comes into my studio and he starts crying about his son with diabetes, this appointment they just had. And he says in that time the chorus of the song almost verbatim.
No way.
And I'm
Wow.
sitting here going like, "Oh my gosh, Jesus, that is so cool." Like I didn't have to open that door. I didn't have to like say, "Hey man, I got something I think you should do." He was right here and just said the chorus. And I'm sitting here going, "All right, Jesus, that is so great." So I was gonna play him the chorus of our song. And he ended up leaving. And so I sent him the chorus and he said, "Man, is this song done?" And I'm like, "Nope." So he and I then just quickly, like in a few days, rewrote the song, like almost completely, just used the first part of the chorus. And then then all of a sudden it's their next single, like in weeks. Their record was already done and they were going with another single, but that song came and they're like, "Well, this is on the record, and now it's our next single. And then it blew up. We're at the Grammys, and now there's a movie about it, and it's
That's so
just been such
cool.
a fun ride. But my favorite part, Steve, is that I didn't have to schmooze my way to get anything on this.
Yeah.
That I just said, Jesus, you open doors. If it's best for your kingdom, you open those doors.
Well, he
And
put
then
the
look,
words on his lips. I mean, come on.
I mean,
It's
how cool is
that
that?
that's like with Willie Nelson said to Waylon, "Hey, I want to give you a song." And he's like, "No." And it's like, well,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna just
yeah,
give it to Merle Haggard then.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so after 2 decades in ministry and music, maybe three, has how has your songwriting process evolved? Did you find yourself digging deeper into different themes now than when you first started, or same soil?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that. Same soil, probably not, because I think I'm growing. I'm in the process of growing so much, and I look at my songs as prayers. I don't know if the world needs more Christian songs, but I think we need more prayers that help us live out this Jesus thing more beautifully.
Hmm.
Um, so that's just what I want to be about writing are those things. So all my songs, I put too much time into trying to make them um disrupt and invite. So I have a new song coming out in a few weeks. It's called "The Way We Love." The world will know the one we love by the way we love, by the way we love. The world will know the one we love by the way we love. And it's just like it's this not an indictment, but it's like a real Tim. Remember that the world will know the way they'll know Jesus, not by our like moral police ism or by our theology or by our arguments or us damning everybody, but they will know Jesus by the way that we love. And so I want to put songs like that out into the world that aren't like
Is that
pointing
for
at
you? Is
everybody
that
else.
for
It's
you
like
to
Tim.
sing, or is somebody else going to sing that?
Yeah, it's coming out of
Your album.
my stuff. Yeah, I've just been writing a bunch of stuff lately. So
Your album.
I'm finding new ways to write and new people to write with and new prayers to pray and yeah.
Your album here marked a significant moment in your career. What was different about creating that record, and how did it reflect where you were spiritually at that point in your life?
Yeah. Yeah, so I signed with Integrity, which is a worship and I'm putting air quotes here, worship label, meaning it's songs that are sung meant to be sung corporately as a church. Versus we all know worship is not music and has very
Right.
little to do with music.
It's
But
not Song of Solomon or a David psalm. It's a commercial piece of music in a church.
yeah, that we can all pray. Like if we prayed these songs together, what could happen? That's the way I look at that. Again, quote unquote worship songs is if we prayed these songs together, what could happen? And honestly, I think God's kind of bored with a lot of our songs that we sing to him every week because I think he's like, man, keep raising your hands and get all lathered up in this stuff. But if you're not blessing your enemies and if you're not loving the people around you and the people that are hurting around you, I don't need your cool songs.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
kind of
the
think
last time
God's
he did that, he said, you can burn all the cows and bulls you want, but I don't care about that. You should be eating them and giving it to the poor.
yes.
I'll stop it. Yeah.
Yes, I really think that, and so I think that to myself too. And even as I'm kind of a part-time worship pastor in a church community here, it's like, man, it's I'm glad that we're going to sing our little songs, but if we're not representing his heart in the world, then we might as well just kind of shut down a little bit. So here was a really special album for me to write with a bunch of really special people, just trying to give the church more prayers. And I think my favorite part of that record was one of the practices that I do with my nonprofit. It's called 10,000 Minutes. Is we have a breathing practice that we do. And so every time I see my X my wrist, I have this breathing prayer that I do. And it's Jesus. I breathe in Jesus, breathe out, you have my attention. So Jesus, you have my attention. Even try it as you're listening right now. I mean, Jesus, you have my attention. I mean, if that were the posture of our heart all day long, again, what could happen with Jesus people in our world?
Yeah.
If we were just saying, Jesus, you have my attention, not some politician or not the end of the world, but Jesus, you have my attention when somebody just cut me off.
Yeah.
I get to
Or your
now,
TikTok followers or your
yeah,
song on the radio or yeah.
Yeah, I get
Somebody
to
who
join
cuts
him.
you
I get to
off.
join him.
Yeah.
You have my attention. And the end goal would be that Jesus, you have our attention. So Steve, you and me, and uh anybody listening, that what if Jesus had our attention as a collective group? What could happen? So that I love the record here because I think it invites us into some of that stuff.
It's a little bit of a play on one word, Here, not Hear, as you would
Yeah.
with music. So I love it. So having Milo, and I always say his name wrong,
Ventimiglia.
Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
Say it.
Ventimiglia.
So he plays you in I Can Only Imagine 2.
Yeah.
That must have been kind of surreal. What was it like watching someone else step into your shoes, and did he capture something about you that you didn't even see in yourself?
Yeah, I think, I mean, even my mom's like, oh, Tim, he nailed it. He nailed you. Like, he has so many of my mannerisms and has figured out how I say things. And I got to be on set most days. And, he'd go, okay, what's a funny bit here? And so we'd talk through it and laugh through it. And um, I think, I mean, number one, I got a really great friend out of it. And I mean, he's, extremely good looking, which I am too, obviously, as you can
Oh
see.
yeah, yeah.
Just kidding, people.
This is on
But
video. You can judge for yourself.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah,
are a
it's
very
good.
good looking man, and
Thank you.
your name was so
He,
popular they named you twice, Tim
thank
Timmons.
you, Tim Timmons. He is just a really beautiful, beautiful man. Like his character is just stunning. So I've learned a lot just from being his friend, and I think he's learned stuff from me, and it's been a really cool collective relationship. I think the most powerful part about watching him play me was me watching these cancer moments when I'm going down in the bus or in the hospital or and I think I got to sit there and watch myself and have compassion for myself that I've never really had before. Like
Oh,
almost seeing myself going, "Ah, buddy, I'm so sorry you went through that and you're still going through this. That sucks." So I mean, even in therapy, they'll do this oh gosh, I don't even know what you'd call it. Anyways, in therapy they do this where there's another chair in the room and you say,
empathy.
Steve, think of Stevie over there in that chair. Put Stevie in that chair right there. And when something happened in your childhood, like just look at Steve and like have compassion for him for a second. Like it's such a powerful process, and I got to see it in real life, and that was really emotional.
Yeah, we do treat ourselves a lot different than we treat others. The film focuses on the tension between grief and gratitude,
Yeah.
something you've obviously lived deeply. We've talked about it for the whole half hour here. How does it feel to have your very personal story shared on such a massive platform? And what do you hope audiences take away from seeing your journey portrayed on screen?
Yeah, I hope people find their own X, like my wrist.
Like X marks the
Whether
spot, like treasure?
Yeah, in a sense, I mean, X is the day I am. I'm here. I'm at this moment. Um, Even my friend who wrote the book The Shack, we were on an airplane together, and I was telling him just I'm addicted to worry, and I have been most of my life. And he starts talking about um, Tim is the presence of God, because our goal is to be live in the presence of God. He says, "Is the presence of God a year ago?" And I'm like, I think this is a trick question, but no. And he said, "Is the presence of God in 10 minutes from now?" And I'm like, no. He's like, "You're right. The presence of God is here in the present moment. Let's stay right here for this whole time. Like this, let's just stay here." And that was really profound. So when I think of what I want for people to do, I would love for people to find their own X, their own like reminder just to wake up and be present with Jesus, whether in grief or in gratitude
Huh.
or in both.
Well, he
So
is outside of place and time, and he does say that a day is like 1,000 years. So,
yeah,
you're right. We can't be in his presence if we're looking towards the future or stuck in the past.
yeah.
Were there moments during the film, the filming, or when you were watching the final cut where you thought, that's not really how it happened, or conversely, they nailed that perfectly besides the acting? How did you navigate the differences between your real story and its Hollywood adaptation?
Such a good question. Yeah, I think what was genius was Andy Irwin said, "Man, I want you to read this three times, the script. Read it three times through. The first time you're going to go, nope, didn't happen like this. I want you to change this." Second time, just kind of ease into it a little bit. You can write questions the first time. Second time, just ease into it a little bit and start to see the heart of what's going on here, not just the details. And then third time, see what you learn. And man, that was absolutely genius because it
Yeah.
was so true. The first time I'm like, nope, I didn't actually bleed out of my mouth. Like that's not what I do with my cancer. But
Well, that's very
man,
interesting because there are directors like Hitchcock who really treated actors like cattle, and then along comes this whole new world where they say, "Oh, you're a actor's director," like Scorsese, who
mm,
would let De Niro,
mm,
do his thing, or let Robin Williams go off the hook. And now you're saying that actually, no, there's a subject matter director in the universe who cares more about you than the actor portraying the character, or obviously
yes,
the behind the
yes.
camera thing like a Spielberg or a Lucas who would put a Jar Jar Binks out there and think everyone's going to like it. So this is interesting. You just may have made Andy, a top tier director of all time.
I think he's close, man. He's so great. And I appreciated that as the human and as a friend, but even just on the wisdom side of it was really wise because he's not trying to do a portrait. He's trying to do like I forget what he says. I'm not doing a portrait of something. I'm trying to do a
Character
like
study?
yeah, just a whole picture
Oh,
versus just a portrait of like here are my exact skin patterns. He's like, no, I want to see just the bigger picture of things. So on a heart level, the whole movie happened exactly like that. Like in real life, like I didn't bleed out of my mouth,
right.
but to see the anguish I was in while I was on that tour bus,
Yeah. Maybe
or
felt like you were really watching a whole movie of yourself unfold
yeah,
with high gloss and really good cameras. Yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
great.
it
Yeah.
just, but I think that was a really genius way of doing it. That it was more about let's get the heart right and the feeling of those moments more than just exact
Yeah, I
nailing
remember
it
an
to a
interview
T.
with Jamie Foxx when he was doing Ray Charles's
Yeah,
biography, and he said, you're dealing with someone's life, you got to do it right. You can't just,
yeah,
pretend that, you might want to say that the
yeah,
or the Joaquin Phoenix version of
yeah,
Johnny Cash may have been a little bit more of pretend, but he took that
yeah.
seriously, and it sounds like the director with your story and a different person, not you acting, took it seriously, and that's amazing. So the movie deals with, and I know you're going to run out of time with me here, so I just want to get
Good.
these ones out, but heavy themes: cancer, faith struggle, finding purpose in pain, like Jesus. For someone watching who might be in your own their own dark season right now, what would you want them to know about finding hope when everything feels hopeless?
Mm. I think number one, I would just say I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that you are going through whatever you're going through right now. That just sucks, and that there's no like good Christian platitude that's gonna help because all the platitudes generally don't seem to help. So I'm just sorry that whatever you're going through. And um, you woke up again today, and I'm thinking of my best friend who is just went on hospice on Monday, and we've been best friends my entire life, and I'm beyond heartbroken, and all of our buddies are, and so for me to go, well, you know what, you woke up again, it's gonna be great. It's like, no, dude, waking up's freaking hard today for him,
It's gonna hurt.
and it's gonna hurt today. All I know is that life's really hard, and he woke us up. And for the moment, I have one job, and that is to be a branch attached to the vine. And what happens out of Timmons and us collectively is that fruit comes out of us when we're attached to the vine. That's John 15. And the fruit is actually the blessing for the world. And so wherever you are, whatever pain you're going through, you do not need to wallpaper over it to try to like be happy or joyful or God's at work and this is going to be great. No, it sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And also, you woke up again. And what if God wants to like just love you in the midst of it and he's walking with you in the midst of it? And what if he's
It's a
even
lot like
crying with
Job's
you?
friends. Job's friends tried to throw everything they could at him from, oh, it's going to be better and
Yeah.
God's will, and oh, you must have
Yeah.
sinned as a child or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but God at the end is like, oh, I'm going to reward you tenfold because you not didn't lose faith.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't have a great answer other than I just know we woke up again today, people, and I'm sorry for the things that you're going through. And what if God's at work in all these things?
Okay.
And I
Well, you
guess,
you preempted and stole one of my favorite questions, my Barbara Walters moment, but I'm going to phrase it a little differently anyway.
go.
Looking back at your entire journey from the cancer diagnosis to the music career to now seeing your life on the big screen twice, if you could speak to your younger self, the one who first got that devastating diagnosis, or even a kid on the seat, what would you tell him about the road ahead?
Oh man. Uh I wish I in some ways I wish I could have told him to stop working for God earlier and just like be dumb enough to try joining Jesus in your days. But I wouldn't have gotten it. It was like the guy today that I saw with his cute little kids, and this morning I'm like, oh my gosh, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it with those little people because mine are old and it's just so hard. I cry all the time. And he's like, yeah, man, you get it. He doesn't get it. Like at all, he doesn't get it. And that's okay. He will when he's my age or my in my place. So part of it's like just enjoy the ride, stay really curious, and be curious with other people too. That's probably what
Awesome.
I'd.
So at the later this year, we get a Jimmy Stewart movie. I told you they're working on the Steve McQueen movie. After having your life story told in film form, what unfinished business do you still feel called to pursue in the next chapter of your life? What's next for Tim Timmons, and who would you want to play you in Tim Part Three?
Man, I'm not looking at that at all. I mean, I was thinking Kevin Hart
I
would be good to play me. Um,
see a resemblance.
yeah, thank you. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this. I'm literally trying to live today, and I'm writing music today, and if it seems to make sense and help the world, then I'll put it out. If I
Well,
write my next
it's a lot
book,
of pressure if you're going to be a trilogy to do something, big grand finale, big finish.
yeah, yep. Those don't seem to work. I don't work for him anymore. I just join him. So if he wants to do something cool, I'll let him.
Yeah, well, that's one of the good things about a Jimmy Stewart or a Steve McQueen.
Yeah,
They don't get to work on the next chapter. You do.
yeah, yep.
So, but seriously, who inspired you in your music and who in your faith?
Yeah, man, so many people that I talk about in my book, but one of them is David Wilcox, this really fascinating artist that he really shaped me. Um, he's just a fascinating singer-songwriter. I mean, the best lyricist I've ever watched, alternate tunings of his music. So man, he shaped me tremendously. I think Keith Green shaped me a bunch in the old days, just going, wow, this is radical. I think Sean Colvin, Jonathan Brooke, all these like artists, these like singer-songwriter artists. That's stuff that I absolutely love and nerd out on. So yeah, all these things have shaped me into who I am today.
Okay. And if our audience or your book readers, movie watchers could take one thing away from what you've learned along the way, what would you want it to be?
That I'm still learning. That Tim Timmons is still learning. He is a disruptor and an inviter into some bigger story. So what if there's more people? What if there's actually more to this Jesus thing than like our little view? And what if he's way bigger and more beautiful than we ever even knew? So it's worth being curious about.
And what do you like more, writing books or songs?
Songs, for sure. Although I wrote this book with my wife, and that was a blast. So we'll probably do another one together.
Awesome. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for your time and your mission and your music and just you being you. And now the world can see that too. Tell our listeners where they can find out more about you and follow your social media. I know you got some tour dates coming up. Tell us whatever you want to tell us.
Yeah. I'm on the road with Mercy Me all year this year, which will be really fun. So we'll be in the fall and the spring. So go check that out. You can go to timtimmons.com or timmonsmusic.com. Find me on Instagram. I love being really dumb and a lot of fun stuff, and also some really, I think, really encouraging stuff as well. And go check out 10,000minutes.com, 10,000minutes.com. And there's a lot of great podcasts and encouraging things on there too.
And the book, you can buy the book there.
Buy the book. You can buy the book there. It's called Waking Up Again. Looks like this. It's got this dumb face on it. Um, and then I've got music all over the internet. There's a bunch of new music coming out too. So check all that stuff out. Thanks, you guys.
Very cool. Thanks again for coming on with us. Hang on, folks. I'll be right back.
Now I write songs about the heartland, My heartland's in Tennessee.
Thanks for coming back. Now the Heartland Journal News. I'll do something for you today I don't think I've done before. I'll read you an article I have coming out Friday as opposed to in the past. So if you hear this before it goes out, you get a sneak peek. Forward it around and let's get some new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, come on, what's holding you back? It's free. Green gold. The snack food industry has witnessed a significant shift toward clean label products, with avocado oil emerging as a premium alternative to traditional seed oils in potato and tortilla chips. However, recent research by Daharo 2025 reveals critical vulnerabilities in Mexico's avocado supply chain that pose substantial risks to this growing market segment. As fentanyl consumption reduces U.S. heroin demand, Mexican drug cartels have increasingly infiltrated the lucrative avocado industry, dubbed Mexico's green gold, creating ripple effects that directly impact food manufacturers sourcing avocado oil for chip production. The research estimates a direct correlation between the U.S. opioid crisis and cartel diversification into avocado extortion networks. With declining revenues from heroin trafficking, criminal organizations have shifted toward extracting security rents from avocado farmers in Michoacán, the primary producing region supplying approximately 80% of U.S. avocado imports. Cartels impose protection fees on growers, with armed labor increasingly deployed to control harvest operations. The study documents that municipalities combining avocado cultivation with prior cartel presence experienced significant increases in homicides and violent theft following fentanyl's market dominance. Violence and instability compromises harvesting practices. The research notes that the rushed collections under duress combined with inadequate post-harvest handling directly impact oil quality, potentially increasing oxidation rates and reducing the high smoke point characterizations that make avocado oil desirable for chip frying. Cartel taxation inflates raw material cost. The study identifies crime diversification rather than territorial disputes as the driver of violence, suggesting these cost pressures represent structural long-term challenges rather than temporary disruptions. The convergence of cartel involvement with existing quality control issues creates a compounded risk for chip manufacturers. The paper's findings contextualize earlier research from UC Davis, revealing that 82% of commercial avocado oil is adulterated or rancid. Forced relationships between farmers and criminal logistic networks may compromise cold chain integrity required for premium oil extraction. Regions experiencing heightened cartel violence show decreased capacity for agricultural inspections and certification, critical for varying 100% pure avocado oil claims increasingly featured on chip packaging. Economic pressures from extortion may drive suppliers toward blending practices or inferior oil grades to maintain margins, directly threatening the quality positioning of avocado oil chip products. The research suggests that reliance on Michoacán's sourced avocado oil exposes brands to ongoing security risks. Manufacturers should evaluate alternative sourcing from California, Peru, Chile, or Colombia, though these regions carry their own geopolitical and capacity constraints. Companies may need to establish direct relationships with certified farms operating in lower conflict areas, potentially at premium prices, reflecting security costs embedded in the research findings. Investment in blockchain or similar verification system becomes essential, not merely for marketing purposes, but to ensure oil authenticity amid compromised supply chain conditions. The study's conclusion that violence stems from crime diversification rather than territorial disputes implies industry-wide solutions require policy interventions targeting cartel finances rather than localized security measures. The avocado oil chip trend capitalizes on health-conscious consumers seeking alternatives to inflammatory seed oils. However, Daharo's research introduces potential ethical concerns that could trigger consumer backlash. As public awareness grows regarding cartel involvement in avocado production, brands marketing clean products may face credibility challenge. Transparency regarding sources, practices, including security audit results, may become as critical as nutritional labeling. The avocado oil chip segment represents a convergence of health trends and premium positioning, yet DeHaro's 2025 research exposes fundamental structural vulnerabilities in the underlying supply chain. By the way, I could have done this report on conflict diamonds. I could have done this on heroin. Avocados just happen to be the new pay a premium because of risk. All right, back to the article. The diversification of Mexican cartels into agricultural extortion driven by the U.S. opioid crisis creates persistent risks, including quality degradation, price instability, and ethical sourcing challenges. For chip manufacturers, navigating these complexities requires proactive supply chain management, geographic diversification, and enhanced traceability. The alternative, relying on increasingly compromised Mexican sources, threatens both product integrity and brand reputation. As the avocado oil chip market matures, resilience upon supply chain disruptions will likely separate substantial brands from those vulnerable to this underappreciated green gold security crisis. Yes, same thing can go with dirty pharmaceuticals, dirty everything that you pay one price. You think you just want to eat a chip. You think you just want to take a toke on a joint. And the ripple effect of that money goes all the way to terrorism and narco trafficking. All right, thank you. Again, that's out this Friday. If you subscribe, we'll deliver it right to your box. Vincent on Monday, Booker on Wednesday, and all the news the mainstream wants hidden from you as it breaks in between. That is it for this episode. Thank you, Tim Timmons, for reminding us we can overcome every day, not just mind over matter and spirit over health, but the temptation of sin. It's all around us and especially potent for artists and entertainers. A lot of temptation on the road. Makes for great stories for us to watch in a theater or listen to on Spotify and cry, but these people really suffer for their art. The 2018 film I Can Only Imagine was a major box office success, grossing over $86 million worldwide on a $7 million budget. I Can Only Imagine 2 came out 2026. This year, distributed by Lionsgate, has grossed about 18 million worldwide, almost entirely from the domestic market, opening to 8 million. The faith-based drama hasn't yet matched the high returns of the 2018 original with an $18 million production budget, making its profitability challenging. Let's see how streaming goes. Available to rent or buy on premium digital platforms, including Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, and Fandango at home, beginning March 24th, 2026. That's today. Go check it out and see him on tour. A bunch of dates in April with Mercy Me, Big Daddy Weave, and Sam Wesley. The Wonder and Awe Tour, Indiana, New Mexico, Arizona, Vegas, and many more. Find a date near you at timtimmonsmusic.com. This is goodbye for now. I'm your host, Steve Ramos, editor-in-chief of HeartlandJournal.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and vote and pass it around. We only grow with your help and still ad-free. And did I mention vote? It's your last week. Peace in our time and glory to God. Winners will be announced in April.
You are with me, right beside me. Always present, always close. Blessed assurance will be my vision, my firm foundation will remind my soul. If a flower knows your love and the sparrow has enough, then I know that I still have a song to sing. The same God that parts the sea is the God who's here with me. I know you won't let go. You never let go. No, you won't let go. You never let go.
It's a long way to Nashville from that Napa Valley vine. Put me on a road less traveled. Lord, now I know why. God knew I'd get there in His perfect time.
Heartland Journal Podcast is the media property of heartlandjournal.com, where you can find news stories, commentary, and content serving the heartland of America. Any views or opinions represented on the podcast are personal and belong solely to the creator and do not represent those of the people, institutions, or organizations that the creator may or may not be associated with in professional or personal capacity unless explicitly stated.
Now I write songs about the heartland. My heartland's in Tennessee. Now I write songs about the heartland. My heartland's in Tennessee.